were or are involved in fandom spaces, especially the formative years of the Tumblr fandom era, then you're likely already familiar with fanzines. Fanzines or zines are self-published pieces of work that can cover pretty much any topic or community that you can think of. For example, here in the UK, we have a number of self- and crowd-funded zines covering a wide range of different alternative fashion topics. Ones like Hysteric Snaps, Bon Bon Magazine, and Hair Wars. Some of these publications have even made it into brick-and-mortar stores such as the Marc Jacobs Heaven store in Soho, London. As you can tell, this is just another set of items that I enjoy collecting. Fanzines allow anyone with a creative vision or an underfed community to create and share something that they and their peers feel passionately about. However, these charming compilations of cardstock have a rather sordid reputation in a lot of online fandom spaces. And this is due to a consistent issue with the people making these zines. And arguably one of the most infamous cases of a zine gone wrong that really cemented this negative reputation is the legacy of Bullseye, a 2017 Overwatch fanzine specifically created for the unique ship between Hanzo Shimada and Dji Mic, who has since been renamed to Cole Cassidy in the wake of the Blizzard lawsuits. But how did a zine about an Overwatch fanship become so notorious? And what does Bullseye have to do with a $1,400 eater bag of the Voltron Legendary Defender character, Lance? Well, don't worry, because we will be going through absolutely everything. But as a quick disclaimer, I'm only able to make this video off of the resources currently available on the internet, and unfortunately, some of the information about what has happened has been lost to time due to issues that we'll be discussing later. And so if there's any inaccuracies or I don't cover something that you've heard about, just know it's because I couldn't find good resources to back up that claim. But if you do feel like I've missed something out, feel free to leave it in the comments down below too. But hopefully I have covered everything pretty extensively. This, ladies and jelly beans, is the legacy of Bullseye. One of the messiest fandom scams since 2014's All or Nothing Indiegogo. Sit back, grab a chai, and clutch your pearls. Now, another fact about me that you're going to learn right now is that I was actually a huge Overwatch fangirl when it first released in 2016. I was in university at the time, and being a socially awkward student, this game was honestly such a reprieve for me. I clocked thousands upon thousands of hours on OG Symmetra, Tracer, Mei, and Diva. And of course, like a lot of other fans, I also spent way too much money on loot boxes, despite not having a lot of money and usually eating cornflakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner during my time at uni. We all need a little bit of serotonin to get through the day, and for me, that was the Halloween skins that they released. I don't miss loot boxes, but I also hate having to actually pay for skins, because then you realize how much money you've wasted specifically to get one stupid skin of Diva. It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. I can attest to how dedicated and active the online community was during this time period, with people very quickly falling in love with Overwatch's core cast of playable heroes. It was such a breath of fresh air for those of us who wanted a less toxic online gaming experience, which I know in hindsight is incredibly optimistic and definitely not reflective of what the community is like now. But coming off the back of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 online lobbies, it was a vast improvement. And with this buzz of excitement around the game and its world building, very quickly fans did their thing and began to brawl over who was their favourite ship and who they wanted to become canon. Now, shipping, for those of you who aren't familiar, is an abbreviation of the word relationship. To ship two characters is to have the desire for them to be together, even if the canon doesn't have any indication that that's the reality. Fandoms often memorialize ships through various different merchandise and memorabilia made by independent artists. And shipping has always been a pretty key part in a lot of artist alleys around anime conventions. And this is what caused the birth of the Tumblr blog and Discord server Mchanzone, created by both Lin, who will be very important to this story, and also Ghost. The Discord server and Mchanzone blog were a popular place for fans to come together, as well as having fun challenges, prompts, and activities that people could get creative with and make their own pieces of artwork. Generally speaking, the blog and Discord remained pretty unproblematic in what they posted. Although a call-out post was made by Tumblr user and former moderator Mango, discussing issues with how Lin would treat the moderation team of the server, as well as how she ran the server in general, stating that Ghost was hardly ever there and that Lin, who was there all the time, was power-hungry and paranoid. Quick to pull out the ban hammer if she felt that her status or opinions were being challenged. To quote one allegation made in this call-out post, Lin routinely banned people she saw as a threat, myself and all the others who were banned today included. This particular screenshot above is what really gets me, because I personally know all of the people she's referencing. They're good people, incredible people, people who have quite literally brought me back from the edge of some of my worst days. They never bullied or harassed anyone, and certainly not Lin, unless your definition of bullying and harassment includes having a rational discussion about topics like adults. Hell, some of the people who were banned have never even spoken to her before. One of them was banned for replying to a post in this screenshot with "Lamau, that's it. Lamau. Discord drama is nothing new, especially if you gather a group of people who may otherwise not have a lot in common. However, these claims of manipulation and mistreatment within the server from Lin stand as a bit of a testament and a bit of a premonition as to things to come. A potential testament to how Lin deals with confrontation and being in a position of power. Now, we love talking about representing your fandom on this channel. Whether you're showcasing this love and adoration through your collection of Eater bags, or stepping into an anime convention in full cosplay, we all know that fandom culture is ultimately about self-expression. So trust and believe that you won't want to miss out on the UGREEN X Genshin Impact limited edition gift box. It features exclusive items inspired by the powerhouse character Kinich from the Natlan region. This is a dream for any fan, blending fandom and functionality in the best way possible. With the iconic and beloved Genshin Impact teaming up with UGREEN, a brand renowned for their high-quality tech products such as cables, adapters, and other tech accessories, have created the perfect solution to keep your tech charged up and ready to go. Whether you're embarking on real-world adventures or just diving into your next long-haul gaming session. Inside this stunning gift box, you'll find that everything is themed around Kinich and his companion Ajor. For on-the-go gaming, we have the sleek but sturdy power bank featuring artwork of Kinich on the front and on the sides, as well as having a special boot-up animation featuring Ajor. With 3 charging outlets, you can power up multiple devices at once, keeping you and your friends topped up and ready to go. Perfect for long cosplay days or just hanging out with your friends. We also have an Ajor USB-C to USB-C cable, a Kinich-themed artwork wall plug, a compact Dendro MagSafe charger, all of which are perfect for use at home or on your adventures. And of course, you'll also get some incredible fandom accessories, such as this Kinich pop-out phone grip, Ajor-themed phone strap, and a cute pouch to keep it all contained. All of which once again rep your love for Genshin Impact and Kinich. Plus, as a theme figure and trinket collector, this gift box includes exclusive figurines and trinkets for your collection. Now, to win this limited edition gift box, all you have to do is go over to the UGREEN website and make a purchase of £16 or more after the 25th of March. Then just upload proof of your order to the UGREEN website and you've been entered. 100 lucky winners will be announced at the end of April, so don't miss your chance to own this incredible collection and be sure to check out the link down below. As always, a big thank you for supporting this video and fandom content. Speaking of which, it's time to go back from one fandom to another. Now, from what I can piece together between the Discord call-out and mentions of the zine at the time, it seems like Bullseye began coming to life in early 2017, with zine submissions taking place in late April 2017. And to nobody's surprise, the person heading the project was Lin, the one in charge of the Mchanzone blog and Discord server. And with the popularity of said Discord server and blog, it's not surprising that so many fans were excited at the prospect of this zine. Many ships are rarely ever canonized and therefore get very little exclusive merchandise. More often than not, it's independent artists and people from within the fandom who make niche memorabilia to sell at spaces like anime conventions. But of course, not everyone can attend these in-person events, and so it isn't uncommon for these zines to receive crowdfunding of some sort. Whether that be through an Indiegogo or GoFundMe project in order to raise the funds to produce said magazines, with backer tiers in order to make sure that people who are supporting it are able to actually get the product, or in other cases just opening up pre-orders to ensure that they know how many copies to make and are not out of pocket from doing so. And Bullseye chose to go for the latter, opening up pre-orders to their audience for not only the hardcover and standard version, but also offering bundles which would include items such as lanyards or sticker sheets. The promised ship date for all these deliverables was to be October 2017. And as part of this release, a charitable donation was set to be given to LGBTQ+ charities, True Colors, and Stonewall Japan. All sounds pretty good, right? Like, fans are getting exclusive merchandise and a charitable donation is set to be made and they have a ship date. Yeah, no, we all know where this is going. As October 2017 came and went, only a small number of paying customers had seemed to receive their orders. And for those who did, many of them had complaints. Tumblr user Punk posted a Bullseye review on December 29th, 2017. And needless to say, they were not happy with their purchase. First off, Punk claims that they paid $7 for shipping. However, the padded envelope that the zine arrived in, which also had no return address, clearly stated that postage actually cost $2.63. Not to mention that international orders were also heavily overcharged too. And so if you can do the math, that means that there's extra money not accounted for just with overcharging the shipping. Punk then goes on to talk about how cheaply made the zine feels and how badly formatted it is, with artists' contributions being unceremoniously lost to the binding, or just having the poor print quality affect the colour and clarity of the art that was given to the zine. The text formatting also came massively under fire, with chunks of unedited gap between sentences and paragraphs, as well as no real proofreading to fix any grammatical or formatting oversights. However, one of the most damning points raised is that Punk was actually a contributor to the zine, and in lieu of payment, Punk and many others were promised a hardcover copy of the zine as well well as a bunch of extras. The soft copy that Punk was reviewing was actually one that they'd purchased themselves to gift to their mother, and they were still waiting on the hardcover copy and the extras that they were promised as part of their contribution to the work. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any evidence to suggest that they ever actually received these. Another reviewer of the Bullseye zine was Tumblr user K Autumn, they themselves being an artist and graphic designer. They purchased the hardcover copy as well as a bundle, totaling $47 including shipping. And once again, their review was not favourable. Just to begin with, the zine had actually gotten damaged during shipping, meaning that there was cosmetic damage to the cover and spine. But even beyond that, the same claim of cheap quality persisted, with K Autumn saying, "The hard copy felt cheaply made, like if I ran my fingers down the front, it felt like the colours would come off." Not to mention that a lot of the written contributions failed to have the author cited with their story, or in even worse circumstances, even have the title of the story in bold before it began. This meant that the stories ended up blending together, with people not able to tell where one ended and the next one began. In K Autumn's bonus pack, which was sold under Bundle 1, they were meant to receive a lanyard, a charm, 2 mini prints, a sticker sheet, and 2 individual stickers. The lanyard, easily the most expensive item in this promised bundle, was actually not included. Apparently, the lanyard was quietly cancelled by Lynn with no real public announcement or offer of a partial refund. And of course, these reviews are just from people who received their order at all. Because even in February 2018, 5 months after the promised ship date, Lynn was still posting updates claiming that the remaining orders would be shipped soon, leaving customers to scramble to communicate with their banks and PayPal after 5 months of not receiving what they'd been promised. Now this is where we backtrack a little bit to look at the first call-out post made against Lynn and the Bullseye zine, as well as the creation of the Mchanzone receipt blog, which is honestly one of the only remaining archives of this entire drama. In the original call-out post on November 17th, 2017, the Mchanzone Discord mod team and the zine committee disclosed publicly that Lynn had been stealing some of the funds from the sales of the zine, as well as a charitable proceeds that were due to be donated to Stonewall Japan and True Colors. This had been done through PayPal transactions directly to Lynn's personal PayPal account, as well as transactions and receipts for Voltron charms from certain Shopify stores. All of this being brought to light by Lynn's ex-co-creator and admin, Ghost, who had noticed all of the non-zine related purchases and receipts through PayPal. When Ghost confronted Lynn, Lynn claimed that her mother had pressured her to take money from the zine in order to cover household expenses, this totaling to an estimated $1,400. But this narrative didn't line up with the receipts for Voltron merchandise purchased from places like Shopify, or just these smaller chunks of money that Lynn had sent herself through PayPal. In this call out, there's also quite a lot of evidence to back up the claims of inflated shipping rates, and even just inconsistencies with how much they were planning to pledge to charity, setting the goal really high and then suddenly lowering it quite significantly. Almost like that money suddenly disappeared and just wasn't available to donate to charity. As well as just the important fraudulent use of funds, this call-out post also highlighted issues when it came to Lynn's creative control over the zine, refusing to include artists or contributors based on the ships that they supported or the people that they were friends with. She refused to allow other people to help her on necessary tasks such as proofreading, editing layouts and page design, all of which contributed to the very subpar product that only few customers actually received. And like I mentioned earlier, as much as Discord drama is just commonplace, and especially when it comes to creating something like a zine, people will just inevitably have creative differences, it seems like the person who made the initial call-out post was actually onto something when it came to the manipulation and control that Lynn craved. With all of this drama unfolding publicly, the committee and Discord team were desperately trying to chase up Lynn for proof that she'd actually reimbursed the funds that she'd stolen, or had even just used them for the reasons that she had initially stated. It was actually so bad that people on the zine and Discord team couldn't ascertain how many zines had actually been sold to customers, let alone know if the remaining zines that had been bought by customers would ever actually be shipped out. Everything was left to the will of Lynn, who was slowly deleting the entire existence of the Mchanzone blog. But you may be asking, Addy, did Lynn actually ever respond to any of these accusations? And the answer is yes and no. Checking the Internet Archive for the 18th of November 2017, we can see that a group of posts were published by Lynn. These include screenshots showing that the zine still had some funds available in its PayPal account, albeit about $1,500 worth, as well as some transactions showing that she did send money back to the zine account, as well as a photo apparently showing that she still had a bunch of hard copy fanzines to send out to fans and that she was currently working on it. Lynn claims that around $11,000 was spent creating the zines and all of the promised extras, meaning that she was unable to offer refunds until every single order had been fulfilled, stating that any remaining customer orders would be fulfilled by that Saturday at the latest. In her final post, she claims that she'll be depositing $1,300 back into the fanzine's account in order to quell all the rumors and speculation, claiming that she's now scared of being harassed or doxxed as a result of all the backlash. But as the mod team and zine committee would follow up in future posts, they were never able to get any proof or confirmation that that money had been returned to the zine account, or that any of the remaining customers would ever actually receive their orders. And pretty much since then, Lin went dark and stopped responding to everyone. Now, with all this discord around the Bullseye zine and Lin getting some pretty widespread traction, a new group of people were adding themselves to the mix, these being anti-shippers. Now, anti-shippers, for those who don't know, are the antithesis to shippers. They believe that fictional character dynamics and relationships can potentially push harmful behaviour to younger audiences or people within the fandom. This anti-shipping can be as valid as not condoning the relationship between a student and an older teacher, but it could also be as biased and overly puritanical as just not wanting two characters to be in a gay relationship. To be honest, anti-shipping can be as broad or as narrow as an individual's opinion. It is essentially just somebody imposing their beliefs of what is right and wrong within fiction. And in this circumstance, antis actually rallied to defend Lin. In a post on November 19th, 2017, in regards to the theft of funds, anti-Tumblr user Coffee, and a word I can't say attached to the end of that, responds stating that Lin is actually 17 years old and never wanted to be in a position of power but was kind of voted into it. Going on to say that Lin was then put in the uncomfortable position of having to deal with controversial subject matters and topics that were part of the submissions for the zine. Capping off the entire statement by saying that Lin accidentally used the wrong PayPal account when making her purchases, but that the money for the zine was still very much in the account. With all of this drama being a result of creepy adult shippers manipulating a 17-year-old and passing the blame onto her. Now, firstly, when it comes to claiming that Lin is 17, this just does not make sense. You need to be 18 years old to have a PayPal account, because they do check and they will ID you. I actually learned this the hard way because I made a PayPal account when I was around 15, I think, and then when I had an ID check at around 17 years old, they banned me from the account. Obviously, as an adult, I can make a new one, and thankfully PayPal gave me permission because, my god, everything needs PayPal. But you do need to be 18, and they do rigorous checks on this. Not to mention that there is literally no evidence to suggest that Lin is a minor, is 17 years old. In fact, on Lin's personal blog, she openly states that she is 21 years old. So she's certainly not a minor or even a teenager anymore. As for the money and the remaining shipping, we know from other posts from the Discord team and the committee that orders very much stayed unfulfilled and the transparency around funds was murky at best. Because the Discord team and committee never really knew how much money was made from this endeavour, they weren't really able to do the math and match up how much money had been spent or been taken from the account. And so there really is no way of knowing how much was truly taken, or at least how much was really earned. Although these voices were the minority, antis were basically trying to say that this whole drama revolved around creepy behaviour and fandom practice. That the others involved in the making of the zine had put a minor in too much control of the product, and had basically been manipulating and bullying a 17-year-old over not agreeing with their choice of ship. Now, in my opinion, regardless of what you think of pro-shipping or antis, it's pretty irrelevant when $1,400 of customer money is stolen for personal gain. Speaking of which, we actually need to have a look at the result of said spending. The infamous Voltron Lance Eater Bag. Now, for those who aren't familiar, Eater bags are a form of oshikatsu and fan behaviour that originate from Japan. Originally seen as painful and embarrassing in the same way as a lot of otaku culture in the early 2000s, this fandom classic has since reclaimed its title, instead becoming a testament to someone's dedication to the oshi, aka their favourite, and also just being a community flex in a lot of cases. By 2017, and especially now in 2025, having an Eater bag is considered cool, and also just very catered to by a bunch of different fandom artists. And so in October 2017, whilst many customers were waiting for the email saying that their items had shipped, Lin posted to a Facebook group called Eater Bag and Fandom Fashion Central. In this post, she shared her first Lance Eater bag from the series Voltron Legendary Defender, stating that she was planning to go on and create a second one as well. There was actually a Tumblr blog linked by Lin for this Eater bag, essentially just breaking down all of the charms that she bought and the cost. But unfortunately, as many things to do with this drama, this blog is lost to time and only still exists out of spite. Now, the infamous Eater bag itself is nearly entirely made up of fan-made merch. Despite the series' abundance of popularity, it didn't really receive the same oshikatsu treatment as a lot of other animated shows. From this picture alone, I could see around 46 unique pieces of merchandise, including badges and charms. And if each of these charms cost around $12 before any kind of postage, that would bring the total cost of the visible charms to around $552. And again, that's a very rough and probably very inaccurate calculation. Plus, as Lin claimed herself in this exact same Facebook post, she actually had charms on the other side of the bag or the insert that just simply weren't visible in this photo, as well as having enough spare to create this second Eater bag. The timing of this Eater bag, the lack of Bullseye zines received, alongside the PayPal payments to Voltron Shopify links, would very likely indicate that this was where these stolen funds were spent. Money that was promised to LGBTQ+A charities that tackle homelessness and mental health was instead used for a 21-year-old's Lance Eater bag. People were horrified, and understandably so. In fact, the artist who was meant to provide the originally promised lanyards went on to open 100 independent pre-order slots, with all the profits from these sales being donated to the original charities that Bullseye cited. Now, although I couldn't find an outcome for this whole thing, I really do hope they were able to recoup some of the money that Lin had stolen and were able to donate it to charity instead. As for the fate of the Eater bag, we can only assume that it stayed very closely connected to the now off-the-grid Lin, posing the question, was it all worth it? As you can probably tell from my backdrop and my socials, I am a big fandom lover. I'm a collector, I'm a spender. I am just as happy to invest into fan-made merchandise as I am official merchandise. So please take it from me that this behavior is not the norm and rarely ever goes without consequence. Most artists or small businesses will encounter some road bumps or errors, and that's just part of being a small business. But ultimately, they will nearly always endeavor to correct them as best they can. Being an indie shop or artist often means that you are the entire staff for your business, and that carries a lot of pressure and commitment both financially and with your time. Please do continue to support small businesses and artists within your fandom. The individuals that make all your favourite fan merchandise and memorabilia are the ones that really do uphold this marketplace. Supporting artists that share your passion is what keeps fandom culture alive. Although this is a cautionary tale, it's not here to be a deterrent. And as for Lin, she pretty much had to erase herself entirely off the internet, losing all the friends and followers that she made because of what she did. Being isolated and condemned by your community was the true cost of Bullseye. But let me know down below, have you ever heard of Bullseye, or have you ever heard about this specific fandom drama? Do you remember this happening yourself, or were you part of the fandom at the time? Or even more interestingly, were you somebody who actually ordered a zine and did or didn't receive it? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Now, when it came to coming up with this video idea, I actually remembered all of this happening off the back of last year's Eater bag discourse, a topic I actually covered in one of my first videos here on YouTube, and that video did weirdly well. Like, that did weirdly well, talking about Eater bags. Off the back of this TikTok Eater bag drama, a mutual of mine, Hazel, ended up talking about this exact issue with the Bullseye zine. And so shout out to them for giving me the inspiration to write up this video. I also really want to give some flowers to another YouTuber called Jess Galaxy, as I stumbled across their video about this exact drama whilst doing my research for my script. Honestly, they are massively underrated, and their diligence when it came to citing their sources and giving context to this situation was incredibly helpful for making this video. Also, from chatting to them a little bit, they seem really lovely. So make sure to go over and support their existing videos and their channel, because hopefully they'll be making new videos soon. And I, for one, will be watching. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting this video. The easiest way that you can support me as a full-time content creator is literally just by engaging with this video, dropping a comment, dropping a like, and sharing it to your friends who may be interested in some niche fandom lore. But if you want to keep up with me and whatever I do, then be sure to check out my Instagram and my TikTok, where I post photos and videos every single day. Thank you as always for supporting my content, and I'm really excited to show some of the stuff that I got up to in Japan very soon. But as always, it's time for the end of the video fan art and outfit check. Bye! It is time for the end of the video outfit check as per usual, and this is kind of a new one. And yes, I did buy it in Japan. I have already posted it over on Instagram, but I'm going to show you today because I really like it. So you've seen this headdress before, but this one here is from AC/DC Rag, and it's just one of my go-tos. It looks really great with everything, and unlike a lot of headdresses as well, it sits pretty flat on my head. Some of them you have to tie up, and I don't like how that looks on me, so this is just a good go-to. This little skull orb necklace, which I think has just been hidden for most of the video, is actually from Vivienne Westwood, and it's part of their older Otho skull collection. Now, the super cute cropped hoodie that I'm wearing is actually from the Japanese brand Liz Lisa, and it's one of their most popular kind of spring, I think maybe late December collections. I ended up getting this in Japan, and my friend was planning to get the pink and white one as well so we could match. But literally a couple of days after I bought this, while she was kind of having some time to think on whether or not she wanted to spend the money on it, we ended up going back to the Shibuya store, the Shinjuku store, the Harajuku store, and it had sold out literally everywhere in every color but black. Apparently this is a very popular collection, so I'm really glad that I picked it up when I did. However, due to the length of my torso and the size of my chest, this does sit higher up on me than it's meant to. Now, because I am a bit bustier and a little bit taller than the average Liz Lisa client, this does sit a little bit higher up on me than it does usually. And so because of that, and just because it looks cute, I decided to partner this cute little t-shirt that I got on Vinted to go with it. This top is kind of like a knitted jumper on the bottom, and then this kind of lacy number on the top, and it's really good for a lot of vampy vampy, gothic, feminine looks. And then finally on the bottom, I'm actually just wearing the skirt that comes with the hoodie because it is a setup rather than just one individual piece. And I won't lie, it's currently one of my favorite outfits because it is super, super comfortable, but it kind of looks a little bit vampy, but also kind of casual. I really, really like it. As always, thank you for watching and bye!